and the politics of the land. What brings us here is unfortunately a sad realization that the students of Zimbabwe have been betrayed for a lengthy period and have therefore become victims of appreciating the mediocre and failing to dream of what is the normal situation for students. Students have been relegated to being destitute on campus and in society due to the deliberate action by the university's management, particularly the University of Zimbabwe, to focus on self-aggrandizement and in a process of structural and illegal looting of university funds. Higher education is supposed to be an investment for any country, and it is a facility where the critical skilled and semi-skilled human capital is established for the betterment of the nation and the increase in the competitiveness of the nation in the broader global spectrum. We as a country and as a generation have however been divorced from this realization and have been exposed to a less flowery future. Education in Zimbabwe has become a cultural commodity for those who can afford, not those who have attained it. The whole belief and understanding of free, quality, and decolonized education has since been eroded from the cognition of this generation. The students have become the mirror reflection of poverty-stricken youth with no aggregate demands due to the removal, primarily the removal of the grants. Ability to attend lectures and register has become a matter of a class question. Only those who have been able to make it financially are able to come to school, not those who have passed. So ZINSEC is generally being rendered useless and second, not the primary reason for people to come to university. The old facility on campus can be equated to a sorry state of dysfunctionality. Campuses have been trapped in a vortex of crime, prostitution, abuse of drugs, and social decay. All these vices have been established on the bedrock of an unjust and rather irresponsible government. I say the government is irresponsible because this government has undertaken the primary structural economic boldness to be empowered enough to run a free education policy. The free education demand from university students is a critical question which will be asked this year, which is indeed backed by the aspirations which have been highlighted in our national constitution. It is quintessentially a question which speaks clearly to the responsibility of a government which has nationalized lands and basically has begun to run all the means of production in the economy. The food economy is being managed by government, and this policy has been made with undiluted trust in the state institution and the government there. It is therefore the duty of the government to justify the so-called third Chimurenga and the economic standpoint by proffering free education. What is worse is the decision by government to engage in pseudo-empowerment activities through the empowerment and indigenization policy and heavy investment in this sector. History has taught us that empowerment starts with an education. The government needs to avoid ad hoc policy implementation, where empowerment in the entrepreneurship sector starts with an education. Free education is therefore the basis upon which a generation can start to envision growth and prosperity. Without an inclusive higher education policy, we will be fooling ourselves. The government will be lying to itself in investing in entrepreneurship. In short, an investment in entrepreneurship in an economy which swallows businesses is as much inconsistent with reality as it is inconsistent with the reality of the uneducated youth. Feasible or not is a question of personal views. People will always ask whether it's feasible in this economy to run free education. But allow me to introduce these key factors about feasibility. The idea of a country which loses 300% of its national GDP through illicit financial cash flows is not feasible. It's anywhere except in Zimbabwe. The idea of a country whose wealthiest citizens are public servants is not acceptable. It is criminal, but we see it in Zimbabwe. A sustained free education policy for 10 years or more will use less money than the money which we have lost through the porous state institutions. And this reality means that the government is indeed irresponsible. And this will lead us to a new discussion which could equally end badly for this government. We don't appreciate it when people start to talk about how SRCs are being unreasonable by calling for free education. They will ask you where it's being done. It's not being done in South Africa. Indeed, they are pushing for it. They haven't got it because in South Africa, their political economy is different from Zimbabwe. Their government does not own the land. The government has not yet appropriated land. The government has not yet nationalized mines. Land is still privately owned. So the government has no moral and even constitutional responsibility to provide free education, which is not the case in our country. We have indeed accepted, and we give thanks to the government for the land reform. Yes, it has got a lot of negative blood about it, but then our people have been empowered, the government owns the land. So by that very fact, the only way that the government can justify this act is by providing free education. It even answers some of the calls they made during the Chimburenga War. Next up, we're talking about the meeting which we had with Minister Moyo. Generates the pointers and key issues that we have to talk about. When the meeting started, the minister was quick to explain on the ZIMDE funds. We have to know that this meeting was between the minister and universities. So maybe this explains why I was quick to explain to us that the ZIMDE fund is basically meant to assist students studying in polytechnics, as these institutions were purely established for the development of trade skills. Skills development is done in polytechnics. I'm sure I was trying to silence us, and this issue of ZIMDE funds immediately became something which was not part of the agenda. But then, equally, as a student leadership, we were based fundamentally on the whole aspect of solidarity. The fact that it is a tertiary institution fund doesn't mean that we will keep quiet about the irregularities that we saw happening last year. This immediately meant that the issue was therefore off the table for interrogation in a meeting with universities. Student leaders, we still fail to understand whether now there is a polytechnic which has been established in Chonocho and in some of the residents of the chiefs who reside there in Chonocho, because that's where the money went. The explanation escaped from the truth of the matter that there was an abuse of office. Another, the minister has to get recommendation from the courts as early as possible. He has to avail himself at the criminal court. This is a criminal case, not a constitutional matter. If he is innocent, the courts will prove him innocent, and they believe that our legal system is quite clear. Then he should go there and declare his name right now before it's too late. The Enabling Act was also part of the agenda where we're trying to talk about the Enabling Act which established universities, those being the Ordinance 30 and the University Act. These have to be reviewed and altered where necessary, and it has to be aligned to the national constitution. These acts were established to grant universities academic freedoms as the universities become semi-autonomous institutions. This same autonomy has, however, led to the granting of excessive powers to the administration, in particular to the office of the Vice Chancellor. The Vice Chancellor on all campuses and at the University of Zimbabwe has become a demigod. Whatever he says goes. You cannot oppose what the Vice Chancellor says. Some of the decisions he makes, we're sure they're not made, they're not inspired, or they're not informed by the fundamentals of the economy, which is liberty, which is need to protect academic freedom. Some are not inspired by his religious background. It is a well-known fact, is from the SDA. And some of those laws that are established in the SDA church are now being used to govern the University of Zimbabwe, which is wrong in any case. The government has actually shown support and said they're going to review this act. They're actually in the process of doing it as early as possible. We hope now for the first time that they will implement, not just use rhetoric, politically claim to escape from such questions. The religious beliefs are undoubtedly weighing in on decision making, and this has to change. Curfews, with Solusi University, Africa University, students studying for undergrads have got curfews that are as early as 9 p.m. By 9 p.m. if you go on campus or you be locked outside. That is very wrong. It infringes on the young adults' freedom of movement. UZ, the ministry is actually in support of this. The University of Zimbabwe is actually in the process of reclaiming its liquor license. The administration can no longer stop us from doing that. They don't want to give us our liquor license, saying when they the bar, there were a lot of demonstrations, but then that was another generation. And demonstrations are not something that students choose. Demonstrations are imposed on students because the administration would have failed, in any case, to listen to the concerns of the students. Government is also using these acts to escape from its responsibility to students who remain citizens of the country. The call for affordable education remains a clarion call to government. We give this call to government because it is the ministry which approves of any fees hikes that happen in any university. So they cannot tell us that the universities are semi-autonomous and they cannot be part of the decisions when it comes to increment of fees, because they still remain the body. The government remains the body which will approve of this increment. So that's why we're dealing with this issue with Minister and the Minister. On the issue of student grants, it is said that the Minister has again hidden behind adjectives to suggest that the policy was on student loans. Loans and grants are two different issues. Grants are given on the basis of need. Loans are given on the basis of ability to pay back the money. This becomes criminal in a country where the majority is living below the poverty datum line. This loan scheme, which will be managed by a microfinance institution, is therefore nothing more than a cosmetic policy for the few who can convince the bank that they can repay. Government has misled society, has misled the students, and will therefore continue to employ an energetic approach to push by all means for the government to take use for serious and to prioritize education. If the legal secretary can finalize and talk about the last outstanding issues that came from the meeting.
Okay, as you all know, one of the indicators of development, or at least a developing country, is a stable healthcare system. But as students, we feel like we are not being prioritized in as much as healthcare is concerned. So we pushed for a standardized medical aid insurance policy for all students, and it has to be established in order to immediately hold the placing of students hard-earned cash in the current situation. Most state universities have started to engage with a policy broker, the LXG Consultants Group, which empowers students through a sustainable and effective medical scheme. With the aid of the ministry, we hope to have this broker as a key initiator of this standardized facility. The ministry showed support for the decrease in fees for students who are on attachment, as it is inhumane to charge them exorbitant fees while they have extremely low contact time with the lecturers and campus facilities. For instance, you have a student who does the attachment as far as Mount Darwin or as far as Chirets, but you are still charged technology fees, whilst you cannot access facilities on the campus, such as the gym, such as the school grounds, or participate in any sporting activities, but you are still charged some of those tuition, some of those levies, which are unnecessary, especially in this harsh economic condition. So there is a need to revisit the fee structure and scrape off some of these exorbitant fees, which are unnecessary for students that will be on attachment. There is the need for a gender charter, which would protect the students, especially the girl child, from the vouchers who come bearing the almighty dollar. Now we know that not only Zimbabwe, but Africa as a whole, we have suffered from a long history of male dominance and male chauvinism. So there is a need to restructure some of these charters, especially in these institutions, so that the girl child will not continue to be victimized and fall vulnerable to abuse, be it sexual harassment or verbal abuse. And the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Higher Education has failed to present itself to the SRC to answer to the questions on their recommendations during the pre-budget seminar in Bulawayo, where they called on the government to dump universities in terms of funding. This Parliamentary Committee has therefore called on government to continue being irresponsible and stop sustaining its own institution. Now we know that as a developing country, as the students, we are the ones that are supposed to turn things around, to be injected into the various economic and social sectors so that we can readdress the issues. That's the basic philosophy of Zima State. But if you have a situation whereby whereby this Parliamentary Portfolio Committee calls on the government to slash its sponsorship to the universities, it means that there's a high probability of fees being raised. And at the end of the day, school dropouts numbers will just grow on an alarming rate. And this introduces a serious threat to the students, wherein they become the central income generation base for universities. At the end of the day, we will operate universities not on the basis of merit, but on the basis of the economic muscle. Say one is eligible to come and enroll for an engineering degree, but there is no money. You're forced to stay at home, and the one who has got the money, whether they are adequate qualifications, you just come on the basis that you have got the money. At the end of the day, we have some of our universities being labeled, this university, it's a way they just take even 3 points, 5 points. At the end of the day, international, our standards will continue to crumble. Yet our politicians, they keep talking of independence. When we talk of independence, it's not only independence of nationality, but let us look at our independence of economics, independence of self-sustainability, and independence of self-esteem. In as much as we do not address such issues, which I believe they can be included in national development, then we are not going anywhere. So as a means of clarity, the government has to maintain the 60 million assistance to universities and should stop this funny proposal of slashing this figure by 45%. Having said that, this is the basic issues which were discussed with on the meeting with the minister. So I shall now leave this time to the Secretary General to announce about any other.
Okay. We may now invite any questions from the panel, if there are any.